My name is Maya Thompson. I am 28 years old, and I live in the serene town of Aspen Hills, which is nestled high in the mountains. Life here has always been a blend of the extraordinary and the mundane. The sunrises light up the snow-capped peaks like a painting, and the peaceful atmosphere is both comforting and perfect for outdoor adventures like hiking and skiing. I grew up here, and it has shaped who I am today. My friends tell me I am caring and generous to a fault, always putting others before myself. But sometimes, that kind of open-heartedness can come at a cost. For nearly 5 years, I was in a relationship with a woman named Karen. When I first met her, she was charming and vibrant, making me laugh in ways that felt freeing. We shared dreams, goals, and countless evenings on the couch with popcorn and movie marathons. We had a life together that was as much a part of me as the mountains surrounding our quiet town. But something changed. Gradually, I noticed Karen became distant. The truth hit me one night, shattering my world. She had been cheating on me. I felt betrayal claw at my heart, deep and relentless. The laughter that had once echoed through our home faded into silence, replaced by an emptiness that left me breathless. The pain was unbearable, yet I did not want to confront it immediately. I wanted to give myself time to process the enormous weight of it all. But just as I was wrestling with my shattered heart, Karen suggested a trip to the Canadian Rockies. It felt like the last hope for our relationship, or at least I wanted it to be. Despite my doubts, I agreed to go, hoping for reconciliation, but deep down, I could feel the fire igniting within me, a growing rage mixed with a desire for revenge. After 5 hours of driving through breathtaking scenery that I barely noticed, we finally reached our hotel. As darkness fell and the stars lit up the night sky, reality sunk in. I felt like I was being suffocated by our shared dreams that were now tainted with betrayal. I could not bear the weight of it anymore, so I made a shocking decision that would change everything. Under the cover of night, I snuck out of our hotel room, adrenaline coursing through my veins. I would drive away, leaving her behind. I knew it was cruel, but I was fueled by the emotions swirling within me. As I drove through the winding mountain roads, a mix of fear and exhilaration flooded me. The stars twinkled above, and I felt alive. By the time I reached home around 7 in the morning, I was breathless from the risk I had taken. The peace of my home welcomed me back, and I could feel walls closing in around me. There was no turning back now. Everything seemed fine until a few hours later when my phone vibrated with endless notifications from Karen. It was a mixture of texts and calls, each one filled with panic. Part of me reveled in watching her worry, knowing she was alone, stranded in a place where she had no one to rely on but herself. Ignoring her messages and calls was thrilling at first, but I could not let this go on forever. A few hours passed in torturous anticipation until finally, I dialed her number. My heart raced, not from vulnerability but anticipation. When she picked up, I calmly told her that I knew about her infidelity. I could hear her silent gasp on the other end of the line, followed by panicked breaths as she attempted to comprehend how dramatically everything had changed. "How could you, Maya?" she cried, disbelief dripping from every word. My heart hardened almost instantly. "You were supposed to be with me. I thought we were okay," she whimpered, but I could hear the cracks in her voice. I reminded her that it had been her actions that led us here, a painful twist of fate where vulnerability turned to revenge. "You are alone now," I said coolly as satisfaction washed over me. She had begged me for years, but I had been the one holding our relationship together. It became clear to me that I was funding her entire existence. At that moment, I realized that she probably had just about $300 to her name and whatever belongings she had packed into her suitcase. In the following days, I found myself swimming in a pool of conflicting emotions. The elation of outsmarting her tasted sweet, but deep down, a part of me felt torn. Would I regret leaving her in the cold, rocky mountains? But the answer was no. Every day that passed, I grew stronger and more determined to embrace my life without her. Her texts filled with guilt and desperation morphed into threats and anger, but I simply basked in the knowledge that every word she typed spoke of her growing panic. As weeks turned into months, I began to feel a transformation within me. I had taken a stand not only for myself, but against the hurt I had endured. I was no longer the woman who blindly forgave. I was empowered by my own strength. I started diving into my passions with renewed vigor, spending time with friends who lifted my spirits. I threw myself into my art, exploring new forms of creativity I had long abandoned. But Karen was like a shadow, lurking just out of reach. I learned she was struggling. Her friends had stopped supporting her because they realized what she had done. Perhaps my revenge was not just in leaving her stranded, but in thriving in my life, with every brushstroke or new adventure celebrating my freedom. Then, one afternoon, I received a message from her that took my breath away. It was brief but painful to read. "I need you back, Maya." It rattled everything I had built since that fateful night. I realized in that moment that I hadn't just won in a conventional way. I had fought for my happiness, and she was just a shadow of the person she used to be. I thought about how deep the betrayal ran and how I never wanted to return to that world. I was a changed woman, forged in the fire of loss and discovery. I had learned that revenge could be brief, but the impact of newfound empowerment could last a lifetime. Therefore, I decided to respond in the most honest way possible. I let her know that I was moving on, happily and freely, without her. That evening, as I stood in front of my easel, mixing vibrant colors of paint like my new life, I noticed how the setting sun turned the sky into a palette of fiery reds and soft pinks. It was magnificent and calming, a reminder that life ebbs and flows in waves of beauty. My revenge was not just in leaving her to fend for herself, but embracing every moment I had reclaimed. Life in Aspen Hills became a beautiful symphony of hope, laughter, and possibility. I finally found a rhythm that matched the heartbeat of my existence. I worked to heal my heart and rebuild a new world, sans the burden of betrayal. I couldn't predict what the future held, but I knew it would be bright. New adventures and friendships awaited me. Each day was a chance to rediscover myself. In the end, the sweetest revenge was simply letting go and choosing to thrive. So I stood proud, surrounded by the mountains that held me, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. And as for Karen, from that moment on, I knew she would always be a lesson learned, one I carried with me as I ascended to new heights.